M1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir. It's halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. Hope everyone's having a good Monday out there. Man, what a great weekend in sports it was. Again, we talk about sports, pop culture, nostalgia here on halftime. My co-host today, Karl. What's going on, my man?
Hey, James needed to have his helmet taken away from him by head coach Rob Thompson. So I'm filling in all day long. That's right. I'm going to get a little toast of the pleasure medicine and be here from R&R through the end of the Blitz.
That's right. You know, I called Pledger early today, about 10:30, and I was going to go over the show, and I completely forgot that he's off today. And he's like, hey, what's going on? You know, he was like half asleep. He's like, I'm watching TV. And it's so weird hearing from him when he's down, you know, when he is not all upbeat and the pleasure that we know and love.
Yeah, he probably very madly accepted the stealing of the helmet.
Yeah. And it's funny though, because, you know, Pledge, man, he goes hardcore, man. He works hard. He parties hard. He's a great guy. But man, I one time FaceTimed him. And I felt weird because, and he will make fun of this a lot because I guess guy friends are not supposed to FaceTime each other. I mean, if I FaceTimed you, would you answer?
I would have to say no on that, but I also don't have an iPhone, so you couldn't FaceTime me.
Oh, no, I could. I can instant message you on Facebook. If we are Facebook friends, I can actually reach out to you that way. That's how I speak to my wife by FaceTime because she has an Android. I have an iPhone. That's kind of the workaround.
You know, I don't really FaceTime anybody except my girlfriend, I would say. So, you know, FaceTime, usually it's just like, you know, just call me, but I'm not even a call person. I'm a very much, okay, text, call if we really need to have a conversation. Otherwise, I'll meet you there, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the person I am. So, you know, if you FaceTime me, I guess now I would pick it up because we've had a conversation about it. But no, it would be a little weird if you just FaceTime me out of the blue.
You know, this weekend I got my kids, Santa got my kids mini iPhones, right? So they came in. So I have a 9-year-old daughter with a mini iPhone now. She took to school today for the first time ever. And I have a special needs son who is 19 years old, who also has a mini iPhone with him at school as well. And the first thing they started doing was FaceTiming uncles, aunts, cousins, whomever. And it's so funny because that's all they have on their rundown. They don't know anyone's numbers, but they can go on there and go, oh, I can FaceTime my sister Gabby. They can FaceTime their grandma, their grandpa.
Through Facebook Messenger and such?
No, just, I mean, through the iPhone, the mini iPhone. So they have,
I'm not aware of this mini iPhone.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay. I've been so removed from iPhone. You're teaching me something new here.
It's about 2/3 the size of a regular iPhone. Not those big behemoth ones that came out a couple of years ago, but the standard size one, it's about 2/3 that size, probably the size of the palm of your hand. And yeah, I gave that to my kids. So it's kind of weird. I have a 9-year-old with a phone. Don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we live in a world where, you know, they need to reach out to us, you know, so there's no other number out there. But man, it was a weird daddy moment this week getting that for my kids, but it's good times.
Yeah, I remember when I got a cell phone in good old, I think 2004, and I was just the coolest kid in school. I'm sure nowadays that's just something that they're born with out of the womb, it feels like.
You are a young guy. Did you ever have a pager?
No, I'm aware of their existence, but I think my general age group are the last people that are aware of the general existence of a pager.
Oh, dude, pagers were so much fun, man. It was so weird getting a number, not knowing who exactly it was coming from, then having to find a payphone to then call it out. I had this purple pager that was like purple and black kind of married each other. It was kind of a dark, it was a cool purple. It wasn't like, you know, lilac or anything like that. It was a cool looking purple black type of thing. It was great. And then I had the one where you could type in a message and it'll print it, it'll read it out. So it's like you're getting like a text message from your beeper, I guess you could say. Oh my God, I'm old, dude. I am getting up there because I'm one of the last. They call it the Zennials, by the way. Have you ever heard that phrase before?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, so you have like the boomers, you have Gen X, and then you have millennials. But a Zennial is someone who was born somewhere between the years of 76 and 81. It's someone who identifies 50% with Gen X and 50% with millennials. So it's kind of like right now, that would be the ages of around 40 to 45. Okay. And it's a subcategory because we had like we understand both worlds, right? Because I remember when I was in high school, I'm 44 years old. I remember when I was in high school, they wheeled out the internet. I remember they wheeled it out. There was 2 computers you had to put down. Yeah, I want to be on the internet Wednesday at 3:30. And then you'd go out there and I'd be like, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to search? The first thing I ever searched on the internet was Rick Riley's columns from Sports Illustrated.
That seems like a worthy use of the time. You know, it's funny to look back at that, and you're right. Zennials is sort of like right there, fringe. Not, you know, I think there's Gen Xers who are almost baby boomers, and I know some Gen Xers who are very clearly Gen X and consider themselves baby boomers because they just sort of more relate with that one. You're sort of right there where you can probably relate more with the common millennial who's a bit older of a millennial. And then I have family who they're just they're closer to Gen Z millennials, and now it's just insane the things that they've grown up with because, you know, like I said, it's almost like they know more about computers than us. You're on TikTok?
I'm starting to get on TikTok. I'm a viewer, but I'm not a producer of it. I was just telling Rob Thompson a little while ago, I want to get on TikTok and start producing my own content. I've been afraid of it, man. Been very, very afraid of it, but I'd like to do it now. But you mentioned a phrase a while back. You said what you feel related to, you know, what you feel more in common with. My wife yesterday said something to me that made me realize that she doesn't get me sometimes. Okay. And it involves sports, but I need to go down this rabbit hole with you. By the way, again, halftime goes till 2:00. We talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. I mean, obviously the big stories, everybody was cheering for the tie. LA Chargers are stupid, 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 stupid. We all wanted that tie. We all wanted the Steelers screwed over. But man, what an ending to that game. What an ending to the regular season. Hey, Cowboy fans, how about them Cowboys? How you feeling? Moving up to the 3 spot, I said it. I predicted this, that the Cowboys would reach the NFC Championship game if they got out of the 4 spot, which they did. But now they draw the 49ers. Spurs, man, they lost a heartbreaker. We'll be talking about this at 12:30. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 was actually at that game, not as a member of the media, but as a fan. And
just a resident of New York like he is on the side. What a life he must live.
I know. He was here in San Antonio for a couple of months, went back home to New York, and he was at that Brooklyn Nets Spurs game. What a heartbreaker, but man, am I proud of the Spurs after this game, and Primo and Kickoff and all these guys who went toe-to-toe with Harden and Durant. Well, again, that's at 12:30. At 1:00, we'll talk more about the Cowboys. And 1:30, the legacy that is Bob Saget. We lost a legend over the weekend. Bob Saget, the actor, the comedian. We all know him from Full House. He passed away over the weekend, and we'll go over his legacy. But as I mentioned, Karl, my wife doesn't get me sometimes. She just does not get me. We've been together for 11 years, been married for 10. Our 10-year anniversary is coming up in about 6 weeks. And yesterday was so bizarre. You know I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. Okay, I'm a Saints fan. And this was how my afternoon went. I wanted to know what were the odds of the Saints making the playoffs. Now, before the game started, what they needed to do to make the playoffs was that they needed to go on the road and beat the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons suck, but the fact of the matter is that's a divisional thing, and the Falcons tend to beat up on the Saints. The other thing that needed to happen was the Rams needed to win a home game against the 49ers. So 38% chance of this happening, right? So at 3:25 at kickoff, I tweeted out that my Saints have a 38% chance of making the playoffs. Well, what happened? At halftime, at 4:45, according to ESPN, the odds of the Saints making the playoffs was 88%. At 5:10, at the end of the third quarter, it had dropped to 53%. Then it dropped to 42%. But by 6:00, Karl, my Saints had a 98% chance of making the playoffs. 98% chance because they were beating the living crap out of the Falcons and because the Rams were beating up the 49ers and the 49ers came back and sent it to overtime. And again, at 6 o'clock, 98% chance. And at 6:30, it was a flat line. The season was over for my Saints. And I was thinking about it because they would have drawn the Rams. They would have played the Rams in the first round. That Saints defense would have beaten up on Matthew Stafford. And oh my God, I cannot believe that the Saints season ended that way. So why doesn't my wife get me? Well, around that time, she was trying to serve dinner. Okay. And she sees me upset. And she goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "The Niners came back and the Saints season's over." She goes, "And why are you so upset?" I said, "You do know that I'm a Saints fan, right? I mean, you know this. I only wear the fleur-de-lis. I only wear that twice a week. I only drove to New Orleans to watch a game. I only watch every single game. I only go to the Evil Olive to go watch it at a Saints, a viewing party. I'm a Saints fan, and their season just ended in the most tragic of ways right now, and I'm upset." Now, again, when that field goal went through and the 49ers won the game, what I ended up doing was I flicked off the TV. Didn't say anything, didn't cuss. I just flicked off the TV and just went into the kitchen. And again, she was like, "I don't get it. I don't get it. Why?" And I was flustered. So I took out the trash, right? Because I needed to just get outside, right? Took out the trash and I came back and I said, "I cannot believe you don't understand that I'm upset at this." And she goes, "Do you know them personally?" And I'm like, No. I said, No. Let me get this straight. It's wrong for me to be upset, but we watch Grey's Anatomy and you cry during certain episodes. Those are fake characters, okay? So, I mean, you get emotional about TV shows and movies.
And actors.
And
yes.
actors. I mean, these are real people, right? This is my team.
And they're more disappointed than you. It's always important to remember the players have more invested in than you as a fan, for sure. But yes, I totally get where you're going.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, she goes, "I've seen you cry at the movies." And I was like, that doesn't mean anything, man. I cried at Field of Dreams because the catcher turned out to be the dad, spoiler alert. And all guys cry at that, or Brian's Song, or one of those types of movies. Okay, I'm not always crying at movies, but there's 2 or 3 tear jerkers out there, right? But man, what a brutal way for the season to end for my Saints. But it was brutal. But it was almost going to be equally as brutal for fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Karl, last night, watching that game, Chargers taking on the Raiders, both teams, again, if they both tied, both would make the playoffs. Were you cheering for the tie?
I thought that it was maybe a good thing they didn't end up tying, because that seems to be something that happens with a handshake and a wink, and it didn't happen. And I think it saved an investigation, because, somebody would have probably cried foul if that there had been a tie, because I was seeing that all day on Twitter. It's like, so everybody agrees on both sides that they need to end this. I was thinking that they were going to sign me and they were going to sign you, and we're going to be the 2 quarterbacks, and we both agree just to throw it into the dirt every play and let our punters go to work. Because if it were 0-0 after overtime and it went into a tie, that's probably, the little pregame agreement. And then you see after the game that, I think Austin Eckler was the one who was talking to a Raiders player, and he said, yeah, we were going to basically run the clock out before y'all called a timeout, and we had to kick the field goal. So There you go.
So thank you for the boomer take. Come on, Karl. That's a complete
Someone
boomer
was going to get
take.
investigated on that.
Now, I agree with you on that, but what were you feeling? Did you really want it to end in a tie, or did you want someone to win?
I kind of wanted to see what everybody was cheering for on the tie, because I think that would have been a cool way for the season to end. They tie and they both make the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who weren't watching this game or don't know what we're talking about here, the Raiders were playing at home against the Chargers, right? Going into this game, a tie. Oh, either team wins, they're in the playoffs. A tie, both teams are in the playoffs. And it was a tight game the entire way. And we're talking Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, both of them going crazy, completing passes on 4th down, back and forth, and it ended up going into overtime. Again, a completed fourth down, fourth and long to send it into overtime, and a touchdown scored the last second to send it to OT. Now, what ends up happening was a field goal is kicked, right? So we have a team up by 3. Other team comes back, kicks a field goal. So now the Raiders get the ball back because the Raiders kicked a field goal in overtime, and back in the day that would have ended the game, but because it wasn't a touchdown and it wasn't a defensive score, the Chargers get the ball. Chargers take it length of the field, kick a field goal, they tie it. Raiders get the ball back with about 3 minutes to go and have no intention of scoring. What they wanted to do was run the clock out. It was evident to everybody that that is what they were doing. The weird thing is that the Chargers appear to be going along. You use the phrase wink and nod. That's exactly the way that I described it to a friend earlier today. There was a wink and nod. Yeah, we're really going for it right now. Yeah, I know there's only 1:30 to go, but we're running the ball on our own 45-yard line. We're not doing anything to advance the ball. Weird thing is, with about 25 seconds to go, the Chargers, for some unknown reason, call a timeout. I think it was a little bit more than that, maybe 35 seconds to go or so. And everyone's like, what's going on? They were just going to run the ball one more time and let the clock run out. And both teams make the playoffs. I referred to it earlier today when I was talking to Rob. That would have been a gentleman's tie. We both agree. Let's just both make the playoffs. But because of that, you have to look at it from the eyes and perspective of the Raiders. The Raiders were thinking to themselves, okay, well, if they stop the clock there, we don't get a first down. What's going to end up happening is that they're going to stop the clock again. We're going to have to punt it to them or kick a long field goal that's probably going to be missed, 60-yarder or something like that. So they ran a legit play, and that legit play ended up going for about 10 yards, got them within field goal range, and now the clock gets stopped with 2 seconds, and now the Raiders are going for the win. And everyone on Twitter is going insane. Absolutely insane, because we're all cheering for this to end in a tie so that they both make it and the Steelers get screwed over, right? And, of course, that doesn't happen. Raiders make the field goal, win the game, and the Chargers miss making the playoffs for no reason. Like, it was obvious the Raiders were not trying to win this game.
And, like I said, I wonder if this would go to an investigation if they did just kind of say, hey, offensive line, tell the defensive line, we're not going to score. But obviously there was no message relayed for the players on the field and, then the sidelines. And, that really is a cost of a chance. But I think Adam Renee here on Facebook pointed it out pretty way. If the Raiders were to tie, they would play Kansas City instead of the Bengals. So, there was a reason for the Raiders to win in terms of the playoffs, but it would have been cool if basically two teams that are like, hey, whoever wins gets into the playoffs, but whoever ties, we both get in. So, it would have been cool if they had done that, but I'm kind of good. What was it Rudy J said this morning? He says, I don't want integrity. I want storylines. Yeah. So, that's sort of the situation where it would have been an interesting storyline. Probably would have been asking if the fix was in for the tie. But I want to say there were plenty of ridiculous things going on in the gambling world. Like a tie was only plus 2,200. And usually it's a lot more astronomical than that. So, there were lots of things going on hinting that a tie was possible. And, I'm sorry if you put money on that.
And thank you for that comment, Adam. He reached out to us on Facebook Live. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe. You will be alerted as to when each of these shows starts, whether it be R&R in the morning, halftime, the Blitz, Sunday Sports Grill, Fantasy Gods, Saturday Morning Hangover. Again, like and subscribe. We're also on Twitter right now if you want to reach out to us. I am at Mike ESPN SA. Carl is at Karl ESPN. Karl with a K.
Yeah.
Karl with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are also open at 656 ESPN. That is 656 ESPN. But man, what a crazy, crazy game that was. I was cheering for the tie, and it would have created an unwanted circumstance, maybe an investigation. And I know you said that it would probably would have been bad if the offensive line is telling the defensive line, hey, this is what we're doing. And I understand that there was something on the line when it comes to seeding. I get that. But there's nothing better than 100% chance of making the playoffs because, again, that field goal could have been blocked. I mean, the odds of that happening are very low. It could have been returned for a touchdown. Again, the odds are very low, but 100% is always greater than 99.9. And that's what we were going with there. But man, what a great way to end the season, and a great way to end the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys looking good against those Eagles backups, beating the Eagles 51-26 Saturday night, securing the number 3 spot. Kind of weird, okay, because there was like a 90% chance going into the game that they were going to land at 4, but they moved up to the 3. And Karl, are you a believer now? I'm not a Cowboys fan. I actively cheer against them. But I've been saying this since Thanksgiving, that this Cowboys team is going to make it to the NFC Championship game, provided that they get out of the 4 spot, and they got to the 3 spot. Drew a hard team, because I'd rather play Arizona than San Francisco right now. But I am a firm believer that this team is going to go to the NFC Championship game. What say you?
This is a team that has shown they can win games all season, and they're all season long the best offense in the NFL. We're not talking about over the last 5 weeks, all 17 games. They ended up having the number 1 offense in the NFL. Their defense is top 5. So you have everything you can ask for a Super Bowl winning team. You have a top 10 quarterback in Dak. You have a good receiving core. You have a 2-headed monster in the backfield. Maybe Dak has even shown some signs to start running again, which adds another wrinkle to that offense. And then you just have, like I said, 2 really star defensive players that propel a defense that is just a 180 from last year. You know, it came down to what we were talking about, the whole rest versus playing. And I thought that if you knew that you weren't really playing for anything, and the Eagles really weren't going to be playing for anything, they really just put out their backup squad in there, then it would be worth your time to just say, we're going to take the bye, we can go into it. But McCarthy is kind of a coach with your gut. We wanted to find a rhythm. We wanted to basically prove that, hey, even if the Eagles aren't going to run their first guys out there, we can do what we want against these third string guys. And that was a really good game until the Eagles kind of really fell apart in the last, 5 minutes of the first half. It was 17-17 at one point.
It was,
And then the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, kicked a field goal. And then they forced a 3-and-out where the punt was shanked by the Eagles. And then there was a big play that led to a touchdown. And my math isn't too great. I guess it was 27-17 at the half. And I was just kind of like, you know what? Dallas is going to end up winning this game.
Yeah, that was a big turning point. It was actually 30-17 at halftime.
30-17.
I mean, at halftime, Dak was 16 for 21, 240 yards at that point with 4 touchdowns. He ended the game with 5 touchdowns. And if anything else, this is just basically a confidence booster for him. That's all that it was. And for Zeke Elliott, because he had over 80 yards rushing, got over 1,000 yards for the season when it wasn't looking like he was going to hit it. Again, it took 17 games. But I think this is a confidence booster because Cedric Wilson had a huge game. Michael Gallup injured. Cedric Wilson filled in very, very well. Schultz got going pretty well. The only difficult part for the Cowboys, though, was Zerline missing another PAT. And he also made a field goal that was ugly. I mean, that ball was probably, over the crossbar by about 3 feet. I mean, it was a knuckleball that he made as a field goal. That's going to be the difficult part for the Cowboys right there, because you need to have excellent kicking in the postseason. I mean, we've seen that back in the day with Vinatieri, right? I mean, you can win games, Justin Tucker. I mean, kickers come into play, and they come into play in bad weather. This guy's missing kicks in domes, for crying out loud. So that's the hard part for the Cowboys right now. But they got out of the 4th spot, which means the road goes through Lambeau. And I did not want the Cowboys, for Cowboy fans, to have to play them in the second round. Now, if they had to go to Lambeau, they'd have to get there in the NFC Championship game.
And it's funny. I was talking about this with somebody on Twitter, and they were just mentioning how, this might be the biggest weakness of the Cowboys. I think it was like the left guard and tackle situation. And that offensive line's been shuffle all season long. And then on top of that, there's criticisms of Zeke not being the power runner he used to be. Maybe Tony Pollard's better. The receiving core gets a good amount of flack. It's like, why isn't Amari Cooper showing up more? Why isn't CeeDee Lamb showing up more? And then, people still like to nitpick at Trayvon Diggs, who I think has given up the most passing yards as a corner all season, despite, leading the league in interceptions. So you have those kinds of things that basically I almost equate it to, they are the Los Angeles Lakers of the NFL. You're going to always be ultra critical of them. However, when they are really good, it's the criticism that seems to overshadow that this is a team that can very easily win the Super Bowl. Yes, you have to beat the Packers. That's probably about it. But if there's ever a win one for the Gipper, it's Mike McCarthy saying, beat the Packers for me. This is my team.
Yeah.
I can tell you everything about playing in the cold, but you Texas boys have not had to play in the cold all that much, with the exception of some trips up to the Northeast here at the end of the season. So we'll see how it ends up. But, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm elated at the season they've had. It's a turnaround season from just a terrible year last year. And they do have a legitimate chance at least making the NFC Championship game, like you said, but really just getting to that Super Bowl would be icing on the cake. Winning it would be amazing, but I'll still say that the Eagles have the most recent Super Bowl in the NFC East, just throwing that out there. And, no one wants to see the Eagles in the playoffs, I think.
For so long, we were talking about how these teams were really, really good above them. Well, we've seen the Rams wet the bed against the 49ers in a very important game. We've seen the Cardinals get cold. We have the Buccaneers with a bunch of injuries. There's no reason to believe that the Cowboys can't get to the NFC Championship game at the very least. But we'll be talking more about the Cowboys at 1:05. Again, they're going to be playing the 49ers Sunday afternoon, 3:30 kickoff. You'll be able to listen to that game here on the San Antonio Sports Star. The line just came out. Cowboys favored by 3, which basically means that Vegas thinks that this is a pick'em game. Do we have any headlines this segment?
We can get to Jeff Garcia and get the headlines after him if you want.
Sounds good. All right, when we come back, we're talking Spurs. What a great game yesterday against the Brooklyn Nets. The Spurs, shorthanded, big time shorthanded because of COVID, went into Brooklyn and almost beat one of the best teams in the NBA. It was a heartbreaker that went down to the final second in overtime. Our friend, our good buddy, Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs was at that game, not as a member of the media, but as a Spurs fan. He'll be talking to us on the other side. This is Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at sasportstar.com.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
There's really no reason to go to Atlanta.
I heard the places where you throw a lot of ones are fun.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard those are amazing in Atlanta.
Thanks for Lou.
You get some fried lemon pepper.
Those got to be the best wings ever when you leave the bubble to get.
It's funny. They look like chicken, but they smell like peaches.
Move it on.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you could get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
The custodial team is not
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
You probably wouldn't leave thousands of dollars on the table at a diner. Why leave thousands on the table with your tax return? Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you don't. This year, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help you track down every last one, so you get your biggest refund guaranteed. Don't leave thousands on the table this year. Discover thousands of dollars in tax credits instead. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
More than 1 in 3 people will face cancer in their lifetime. Unfortunately, fear can stop you from getting cancer screening, but it won't stop cancer. Early detection can save your life. Don't wait for symptoms to appear to act. Cancer screening is safe, effective, and accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to cancerscreenquiz.com now and take the American Cancer Society's 2-minute cancer screening quiz to find out what screening tests are right for you. Don't wait. Take the quiz. Get screened. Go to cancerscreenquiz.com now. Cancerscreenquiz.com.
Injuries happen. So if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com. Or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Join the all-new Blitz with Joe Reinagle and Jason Minix tonight at the Roo Pub as we get you ready for tonight's national title game between Alabama and Georgia. Lots of prizes to be given away tonight. The Blitz starts at 4, and they'll be out there to enjoy and watch the game with you as well. So come out and join Jason and Joe at the Roo Pub tonight for the Blitz and the national title game. I'll be out there tonight, too. Begin there around 6:30.
I'm debating it because, like I said, I am doing double duty, and I usually get a nap in here within this 4-hour range. So I'll see how I feel once we sign off and I have everything uploaded.
Oh, no, you have no excuses because the national title game should go till about 10:30 or 11.
Ugh.
So, we'll be out there again. Joe Reinagle will be at the Roo Pub along with Jason Minix. James Pledger will be there. I'll be there. I think Rob Thompson should be there as well. Come say hi.
Staying up till 11 is a task for me these days.
Oh, I understand. But you know what? Maybe you can take a break. Take a little nap during the commercial breaks. They're about 4 minutes long. You'll be fine.
All right, little cat nap. Not bad. Not a bad idea.
Welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. We go till 2 o'clock. My name's Michael Jimenez. That's Karl Schoening. Joining us now, a good friend of the show, Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. I needed to talk to him about this because again, the Spurs are back in action tonight, 6:30 tip-off against the New York Knicks. Great. Madison Square Garden. Fun times. You can watch it at the Roo Pub with us as well. But we have to talk about yesterday's game, an 11 a.m. tip-off against the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, we're talking about a Brooklyn Nets team that has Kevin Durant and James Harden, Blake Griffin. I mean, all these star players out there. And, man, the Spurs went toe-to-toe without Derek White, without Keldon Johnson, without Devin Vassell. 3 of the 5 starters were out because of COVID. Jeff Garcia was at the game as a fan. You know, he's a member of the media, but he went there as a fan. He lives out there. Jeff, how was that game, man? As a Spurs fan, how was it?
I can tell you this much. Nets fans were biting their fingers. You got very, very quiet in that fourth quarter towards the end when Primo hit that big shot. It was an exciting game. It was a game where I was just thinking, sitting in my seat saying, I wonder if this game would have been different if they had 1 or 2 of their main boys out on the court there. Vassell, Derek White. Hey, maybe this thing turns a little different towards the Spurs way. But overall, such a great game, a matinee game, rare in today's NBA. It was just fun. I love the grit. I love the energy that the Spurs team displayed, minus all their big boys last night. I also like the fact, too, that we got a good glimpse of what this team can be, perhaps once they get clicking, once this COVID mess is over, once they get back on their feet, they get that chemistry back on together. This team could possibly, as the season goes on, perhaps give the NBA world more shocking wins over some top quality teams in the league. They did this, Michael, like you mentioned, without their big gun. They did this without them. They took a Nets team that had Harden balling towards the end of that game, Durant being Durant, just the Nets presenting themselves as best they can versus a very depleted team, and they nearly lost it just by 2. And let me tell you, some observations I saw on the Spurs bench. When Primo hit that big shot, and Karl, you'll definitely love to hear this. He hits a big shot. Everybody sees it. The whole, at least Barclays Center got quiet. He's going back, pumping his chest, flexing and everything. He is so eager to get back into the game. Becky Hammond had to pull him back away several times, like, no, you're not going back on there. It was just like a little kid who wants to go play, but he's not allowed to go play yet, because mom didn't say go out and play yet. So she's pulling him back in. That's how eager he was to try to get back on the court to help this team get the W. It was just I know moral victories are kind of, moral victories, but I mean, if this was a moral victory of moral victory, this was a really good moral victory for this team.
It was the ultimate of moral victories. The Spurs lost this game
really
1.
And the Spurs are first in the league in moral victories. I swear they played like 20 games where they've lost by less than 5.
Now in this game, the Nets won 121-119 in overtime. Spurs have dropped to 15-24, still 10th in the West. So dreams of that play-in tournament are still alive.
Still alive, yep.
But man, Joshua Primo, 39 minutes. He played 39 minutes, scored 12 points. Yes, you mentioned that big 3-pointer to tie the game, send it to overtime. But beyond that, he drew a charge on James Harden as well along the way that kept it going, that kept kept it going. When I was watching this game, I was thinking to myself, okay, the Nets are just toying with the Spurs. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where
the same thing too,
where just toying with them, and then they're going to turn it on in the fourth quarter, end of the third, and they did. Yeah. They got up by 8 points, and what happened? The Spurs started chipping away. Some dude named Devontae Kaycock coming out there and challenging Durant on shot after shot after shot. Now, Durant was 11 for 21, which sounds like he had a good game. But the fact of the matter was that, man, Kaycock and all these big guys who were just subbing in were challenging almost all of these shots.
Right. And I also want to tip my cap to Keita Bates-Diop.
Yes.
I really do. I really want to. I mean, he really put some clamps on KD in the game, really making him work for the shots late in that fourth quarter. Kind of an unsung hero right now for the Spurs in their COVID-depleted times right now.
Yeah.
Really stepping up his game offensively and especially on the defensive end. I mean, there wasn't that play, Karl, drawn up for him in regulation.
The alley-oop. Yeah, he was, he's probably one of the more long athletic players that the Spurs have. And I thought he got fouled on that play, but refs tend to swallow their whistles, so... Yeah, and
Karl, there was a lot of home cooking at Barclays.
Was there?
There was a lot of home cooking for the Nets.
And Primo also goes in on playing that kind of special defense, because they're on that final play. Not only did he, blitz to force a double team on Kevin Durant to get the ball out of his hands, mission accomplished, he also got right back to Cam Thomas to make sure that he missed that or that shot was well contested. It was just a tough shot, and really just a tough loss for a hard-fought game for them. But, yeah, so many positives to pull out of it.
Now, Jeff, for those of you who didn't watch that game, we're talking about the game winner out there. And with that game winner, I got to tell you about something that happened to me, Jeff. My daughter.
Oh, I got to hear this.
My daughter attends LSU, right? So it's so funny. In this game where it's tied 119 apiece in overtime, Cam Thomas, a rookie, ends the game with the game winner, right? With game-winning jumper over Joshua Primo. So my daughter, who's home from LSU, is hanging out with me right now because she doesn't go back to school till this weekend. And she's like, "Oh, Spurs lost." And then the announcer says that rookie from LSU. And then she got all excited and started clapping. I was like, "Oh, Gabby, don't do that to us, man. Cheer for the Spurs." But Cam Thomas,
wearing a Thomas jersey now
with a big shot. It was an SEC battle at the end. It was Cam Thomas from LSU shooting it over Joshua Primo of Alabama. It was an SEC final right there, battle of the rookies. But Primo did get back on D on that, but it was an amazing game. DeJounte Murray also had a big game, was 1 rebound away from a triple-double again, 19 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds. He also had 2 steals, but man, Murray still balling.
Yeah, Lonnie too, man. We can't forget about Lonnie Walker. Really played a really great game, and that's exactly what Spurs fans have been wanting to see out of Lonnie. And I think this year you're seeing that kind of Lonnie, that great play more often than not. That's one of the biggest knocks on his game is the inconsistency. This year he's lessened that. He's giving you a little bit more steady play throughout the season. Had a really good game versus Brooklyn. The Spurs probably wouldn't be in the situation they were in to at least challenge to get overtime without his play. All in all, it just really makes you wonder what this team can be when they get things going, once everybody's healthy, on the same page, and raring to go. And this COVID hit right now reminds me last season, Karl, of when the Spurs were on a roll and then the COVID hit them, and that seemed to derail their momentum. I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time around when everybody comes back. But the good news is, Mike and Karl, is that I think the waiting period to come back is shorter. Like I think it's 5 days.
It's 5 days if you're not showing any symptoms.
Not 5 days. Okay, so that it bodes well for San Antonio because they're going to come home after the New York game for a long homestand. Hopefully they can beef up that record. For those of y'all that are not on Team Tank, this will be a good test for the Spurs coming up. For those of y'all who are on Team Tank, maybe y'all are just kind of biting your fingernails saying, "What are you guys doing? There's a guy named Bonchero waiting for you guys, or Chet Holmgren."
Jabari, baby. Hey, and that's the thing about me being a Spurs fan right now. I've said it a million times on this show. I cheer for the Spurs. I wanted them to win last night. But if they lose, I'm like, hey, man, more ping pong ball combinations, man. So not that bad of a deal.
Can I mention something really, too, about last night's game, too, or yesterday's game, midday? Nets fans were actually recognizing Lonnie Walker. You heard a lot of Nets fans kind of mumble to themselves where I was sitting, who's Lonnie Walker? Who's this Walker? Like, this Walker guy is playing really, really good right now. So he was definitely getting the attention of Nets fans. And it was just an all-around great game, exciting game. I'm hoping for another one tonight. Now, this one tonight, Spurs at Knicks, MSG. Then I'll be back on Media Row. But, Karl, Mike, I just had to have one game to myself where I could just relax and watch a game, drink a beer. It was a midday game. I get to explore the area of Brooklyn afterward. And, but back to work today, guys. So back on Media Row.
I hear Barclays is the nicest, one of the nicest now, but when it was made, it was easily the nicest in the NBA.
Right. And let me tell you something, Karl. Their restaurants, their food menus, the amount of diverse food you can get is amazing.
There's no Whataburger, though.
Incredible.
No Whataburger.
Did it cost you an arm and a leg?
Believe it or not, this time, let me rephrase that. Between the Knicks, MSG, and Barclays and Nets, the Barclays one is cheaper to go to game. Well, let me put that in quotes. Cheaper by New York standards.
Yeah.
Knicks, doesn't matter if they're 0-82, they're still charging you $500 to sit on the nosebleed where obstructed view everything. They'll still charge you.
But you got
nominal
Tracy
rates,
Morgan in the front, man, going crazy when they win at the buzzer.
Yeah, it's definitely an event. It's for me who gets to go to MSG and sit in press row, get to see the insides of MSG. It's so historic. It's so awesome to see. Really soak it in. Karl, your dad, I remember I met your dad at MSG one time, back when they used to let the radio guys sit in like in a little booth, like among the fans. I don't know if you ever told you that story.
I don't know where you sit these days as a media member, but I was with him for the New Year's game in 2018.
Right.
And they had us in the third deck, like just one row, makeshift row right in front of the fans. It was one of the worst vantage points, but it's still really cool, MSG, just the aura of it.
Yeah, exactly. And but as far as tonight's game, I'm hoping for a Spurs W. It's going to be tough coming off that OT loss. No practice today, so they're trying to really conserve their energy. Knicks is a team you can't sleep on nowadays. You can't, although the record are not above 500. Still, R.J. Barrett is coming along. Julius Randle's still an issue. Spurs will still be depleted tonight. Hopefully they can give that effort. You just want them to be competitive.
We got 1 minute left.
They're in right now. They got to be competitive.
We've got 1 minute left in this segment. One last thing. Again, the Spurs back at it tonight against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Tip off at 6:30. Knicks are favored by 6. But one last thing before we let you go. This is Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. You know that James Pledger never gets a day off or never has time to himself. He finally has a day off. And what do you do? What do you do?
I didn't know that he had a day off. I had no idea.
So he's your guest on Locked On Spurs.
He's on guest for Locked On Spurs for tomorrow, though. For tomorrow.
But it was aired. But it was recorded today.
It was recorded today. Get it ready. And I was wondering because when I got a hold of him, he's like, anytime you want, anytime. He never tells me anytime I want. It's always like within windows.
Yeah.
Like morning, between the blitz, or after everything's done. So yeah, he is back on tomorrow. So and I'm pretty sure Michael Jimenez will be on too sometime this week as well. And I got to get Karl back. Karl, I don't know if you know this history. When it comes to Sports Star, ESPN SA, all that stuff, Pledger is the OG. But when it comes to just overall, between you guys, you are actually the OG.
Me?
You're the first one ever. Yeah. You came on Locked On Spurs before you joined the Star.
Oh, well, yeah, like 2018. I remember doing it like in my car outside of the Gold's Gym I worked at. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to definitely get Karl back on. He's been overdue, but definitely check out Locked On Spurs with Pledger tomorrow.
That's right. Follow Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Yep. You can also follow him on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Ken's. I'm sorry, at Jeff G Spurs Zone.
There you go.
That is Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. Thank you for being with us on Halftime, Jeff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talk to y'all soon.
All right. When we come back, we're talking more NFL playoffs. Which one is ripe for an upset? We're talking about that and Cowboys at 105. This is Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Which teams are postseason bound? Which teams will screw the pooch and blow their chance? Which will get in with a miracle win? And how could COVID mess everything up? Get the latest from around the league and stay connected. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs fell in overtime to the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday, 121-119. Lonnie Walker led the Spurs in scoring in his third start of the season with 25 points. The Spurs stay in New York City, but play in Madison Square Garden tonight against the Knicks. Tip-off is slated for 6:30 Central Time. The Rockets fell to Minnesota Timberwolves 141-123 in Houston last night. Karl Anthony Towns had 40 to send Houston to their 14th loss in the last 17 games. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a big win against the Chicago Bulls, 113-99. Luka Doncic led the Mavs with a 22-point, 14-rebound, and 14-assist triple-double. And the Dallas Cowboys officially land in the NFC's 3 seed and will host the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round this Sunday at 3:30. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Angie's List is now Angie, and caring for your home just got easier. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or a dream remodel, Angie makes it easy to see reviews, compare quotes, and connect with top local pros who can get the job done right. Plus, you can see upfront pricing and instantly book hundreds of projects. No phone tap, just the work you need done at a time that works for you. Angie's got your to-do list covered from start to finish. Book your next home project today at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Imagine the organizing possibilities with Lowe's, where keeping it all together comes with Project Source Clear Storage Totes starting at $238, and iDesign plus the Spruce Storage Bin starting at $1298. Clean up your closet with the Closet-Made Brightwood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Find it all at Lowe's Store and Save event, in-store and on Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Valid through 3/18. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. U.S. only. iDesign plus the Spruce Storage Bin. Pricing excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Jason Minix here for River City Oral Surgery. If you need your wisdom teeth out, a tooth pulled, dental implants, you need to know about Dr. Mark Havercorn at River City Oral Surgery. He offers direct patient care, so you don't need a referral. You simply call, make an appointment, and all prices are listed on the website. That's one of the great things when you go to rivercityoms.com. Even if you have dental insurance, River City Oral Surgery will probably still be less, and all prices are all inclusive, including your post-op care. You know exactly what it's going to cost you before you go in. Free market medicine is the way to go. You know what you're going to pay, and you know you're getting the best care. People drive from all over the state to see Dr. Havercorn, who is an oral surgeon. He's a specialist medical doctor, and he treats people of all ages. Call 210-778-0002 or go to the website rivercityoms.com. rivercityoms.com.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a four-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
A new year comes with new excitement, new ambitions, new milestones. Is this the year you pop the question, have a child? Celebrate a major anniversary. At Diamonds Direct, we're here for you, now more than ever. With our vast selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds, our world-renowned designer jewelry collections, our industry-leading warranties and guarantees, and our people. People with a passion for helping you mark any occasion with something that's both meaningful and timeless. And our commitment to providing exceptional value is stronger than ever in the new year. Whether you're just starting out on a tight budget or whether you're splurging on that 30th anniversary gift, Diamonds Direct will make sure you get the price that you expect from America's premier direct diamond importer. Welcome to a new year and welcome to Diamonds Direct, where extreme value combines with the ultimate luxury shopping experience to create that truly magical moment for the milestones in your life. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
Opinions. We got them. Keep them coming. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez, joined by Karl Shoney. During the commercial break, I said something to you that you kind of perked your ears up a little bit. I said the road to the Super Bowl runs through Nashville. And you were like, wait a minute, We've been talking about how it runs through Lambeau. Well, that's on the NFC side, but on the AFC, Tennessee Titans, baby, ended the season the number 1 seed in the AFC without Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think that's the big surprise. No one really thought Tannehill could be the main focus point that pushes that one through. But yeah, you're right. That is a good team and good for the AFC. But, if you had me pick one team that's just playing the best going into the playoffs, it's got to be Green Bay. So like you said, thinking about the best team in the NFL that has the chance to go to the Super Bowl, it's Green Bay. But yeah, you got to consider the other side of that coin too. AFC, it's Nashville.
Everyone thought that they were going to fall off when Derrick Henry got hurt. It's amazing what they've been able to do. Mike Vrabel should be coach of the year. And I thought that if Sean Payton would have been top 5 had he gotten in to the playoffs, starting Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, Ian Book, and Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Dude, if Sean Payton was the coach of the Cowboys, they would have won like 3 Super Bowls. Cowboys should offer the Saints like 2 or 3 first rounders for Sean Payton services. Just saying. Hey, but wildcard weekend is this weekend. 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and for some reason, 1 game on Monday. Let's go through it real fast. Raiders at the Bengals. Bengals favored by 6.5. That's on Saturday afternoon. Saturday night, Patriots at Bills. Divisional rivals right there. Buffalo favored by 4.5. On Sunday, the noon game is the Eagles. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay favored by 8.5. The 3:30 game, Cowboys and Niners at Jerry World. Cowboys only favored by 3. The evening game on Sunday, Chiefs and Steelers at KC. KC favored by 12.5. And on Monday Night Football, Cardinals travel to LA. Rams favored by 4. Which one of those games right there do you think is ripe for an upset there?
My heart is saying Eagles, Tampa Bay, mainly because Tampa has this weird kind of internal struggle going on with the post-Antonio Brown departure. But my mind is really saying Patriots can beat the Bills.
Yeah.
That seems a bit more reasonable.
Now, the Bills have been playing very well lately. So it's one of those things where the Patriots from the mid part of the season were doing exceptionally well. But man, Allen has turned it up. And offensively, they're doing much better there in Buffalo. That's a tough team. It's weird because I like gambling and I like gambling on sports. I'm taking a look at this and I like all the home teams, man. I like scratch on all this. So if I'm going to pick one that I think is going to be a potential upset, it's the Raiders over the Bengals.
Yeah, and the Raiders seem like a team of destiny right now. They had that big wrench thrown into their season with the whole John Gruden drama. And they're going to probably get out of that with a potential playoff win if that's the case right there. But, it's kind of all gravy. So I think that they play a little more loose than the Bengals.
Which is sad because the Bengals are my team for like that no one should want to play. The Raiders are a team that no one should want to play, but they're playing each other. The good thing is that one of them has to advance, and they're that one team. Those are the 2 teams where if they get it going offensively, they can't be stopped. Derek Carr, his record when he throws for more than 300 yards is very, very impressive. And then you got Burrow doing his thing, and Burrow, we know what he can do on a national stage as well, coming out of LSU, just lighting it up for the Bengals as well.
And the Raiders, correct me if I'm wrong, were one of the teams that started 3-0 on the season, and usually that's a sign of a team that's pretty good.
Yep. Hey, we have another hour of halftime to go here on the San Antonio Sports Star. When we come back, we'll be talking about Georgia and Bama. At 1:05, we have more Cowboys talking. At 1:30, we're going to pay tribute to Bob Saget, who we lost over the weekend. He passed away. We know him as, Danny Tanner from what the hell? Why did I drop it? Full House. Danny Tanner from Full House. I saw someone refer to him as the dad of the 90s, as America's dad. Was he really America's dad? The TV dad? We'll talk about that on the other side. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star.
I can't wait to watch you guys play!
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go!
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go! Let's go!
Are you ready?
You gotta go out there every play and earn it!
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star.
I like it!
We're serving up all the biggest games you can handle.
Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3, dominate!
Get all the action live on San Antonio Sports Star.
180! Wait up!
ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, get me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is
I know
exponential.
we're a couple of accountants short.
He
but-
needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan. Which is a team now in the future?
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmett's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today. 571-0318.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Male enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings. Only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
Ready on take one?
Ready.
Okay, this is a crucial moment of the audiobook. The big escape.
Chapter 9. They had waited long enough when finally the clock struck midnight and...
Wait, where are you going? Nope.
When you need a taco, you need a taco. Try the beefy melted Fiesta veggie burritos. Just $2 each, only at Taco Bell. And that's my time.
I'm not the voiceover guy too, but guess I'll read the legal copy. At participating Taco Bell stores for limited time only. Price and participation vary. Tax extra. Taco Bell vegetarian items allow for dairy and egg consumption. Preparation methods could lead to cross contact with meat. Visit TacoBell.com for full details.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime.
It's hour number 2 of halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez. My co-host today is Karl Schoening. Karl, I like doing shows with you because during the break, I get to know more and more about you. And you mentioned something about how it's a monumental day for you. It's a historic day in your life. You are 30 years old and something happened to you today that had never happened before, which was?
I looked capitalism in the eye and said, I'm in. I got my first credit card approved. I applied for it over the weekend, and yeah, I'll be getting it in sometime in the next 14 days, apparently.
Karl Schoening, 30 years old with his first credit card. Man, what kind of credit line are we talking about here?
I want to say they gave me $5,000. I got to be careful not to use that.
Dude, you know what? You went to Texas State. I was there when it was called Southwest Texas State out there in San Marcos. Got my first credit card when I was 18 years old. I was making $9 an hour, and some credit card that I got on the SWT campus, they somehow approved me for $25K.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
They stopped doing that kind of stuff because kids were getting in trouble.
Yeah.
You can't go to college campuses and give out credit cards now.
Oh my God. I did it for the free t-shirt. It just said Bobcats on it. And I did that. And I remember paying it off like years later. I remember the first time I paid off like all my credit cards. I thought to myself, every tab has been paid. Every dinner has been paid. Every vacation has been paid off. It's weird because we live in a society where you kind of need debt to get more debt. You kind of need to have a credit score and whatnot to buy a home and things like that. Just don't go too crazy about it, man. Just be cool with it.
Well,
but you can now check into hotels.
Oh.
You can now get a rental car.
You know what? I guess I've never tried to do that. I have a business credit card, obviously, that I use for my company, but I've never actually personally tried to get a rental car. And, I've never had a problem with hotels, but yeah, it's just something kind of funny. I applied for a better credit card and they declined me, not because of my score, but because I just haven't accumulated enough and repaid back enough debt. And I think a big part of that is because, at the moment, student loan debts are on pause. So, if you don't have much after that, then it doesn't bode well to get the best credit card. So, start accumulating debt and paying it off. And I have 0 APR for the next 12 months. So I better get used to it. And I think I'm going to get a new TV after the show.
Now, there you go. Go to Costco, right? So for my 19-year-old daughter, I'm going to get her what's called a secure credit card. So secure credit cards, when you give a bank some money, $500, $1,000, and they give you a credit card off of it, and even though when you spend money, you're spending your own money, they report it to the credit bureaus as though it is an actual credit card. So you don't actually get into debt. You're using their credit card to access your own money. It tricks the system a little bit. And for those of you who ever had any difficulty with credit cards or want to improve your credit score, that's one way of doing it. It's called a secure credit card. Banks, credit unions, they take care of all that. It's basically utilizing your savings as a credit card. The more you know. Look at that, a little financial tip.
And I've been warned that I have to live with this credit card forever. It's not a good thing to close out your first credit card.
That's
so
exactly correct.
I will cherish it.
Yeah, keep the account open. Just tear them up. But welcome to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. We talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Right there, we talked a little about credit scores. How about that?
Not bad.
Not bad.
People need financial advice all over the time, and I am not the one to be giving it to. In fact,
that's what I do for a living.
Yeah, cryptocurrency. I don't know if you're into crypto, but it's been dipping and dipping, and I've been buying the dips, and now I'm starting to get a little stomach churn on how many dips there are, but I'm still buying the dips.
I'm licensed in investments and insurances, and I'll be honest with you, I've never done anything crypto related. I'm not saying it's a positive thing or a negative thing. I just don't know enough about it, man. Be honest with you. I probably should educate myself more because it's becoming more and more popular. But welcome to Halftime. One of the things that we did over the weekend that basically everybody did on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and I fell into the trap, but I enjoyed it, was the 10-year challenge.
The post picture of you right now versus 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I want to thank my friend Emma for saying that I'm aging like fine wine. Again, I don't have much gray hair. I don't think I look as young as I did 10 years ago, but I do think I look younger than I did 5 years ago. So I might post a 5-year challenge because, again, losing 20, 25, 30 pounds will make you look a little bit younger sometimes.
I thought you looked a little younger 10 years ago, but I think you look better now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and my wife is apparently part vampire because she's turning back the clock. She's looking younger and younger as time goes on too. So,
That's the key. You know, I didn't use it with a magnifying glass when I looked at your picture today versus 10 years ago. But you know, I'd say that y'all both aged well. I hope that I age gracefully on top of that.
Did you see Rob Thompson's?
You know, Rob looked like he had a lot more fun 10 years ago. Yeah, he looks like he was having a lot of fun over at EA back then.
So I'll put this on Facebook Live and on YouTube. That is Rob Thompson 10 years ago. He says about 11 years ago. So that was fantastic, man.
Now he's very distinguished.
He is a very distinguished. He's got the silver fox thing going on, man. You know, it's about aging gracefully, and I hope to do that too. You know, I'm 44 years old. I say this, I'm not old, but I'm not young, but I can still run long distances. So until I can't do that, then maybe I'll then be old. But good times. Hey, tonight's the national championship game. We're having a viewing party, San Antonio Sports Star viewing party over at the Rue Pub, which is on 281, just outside of 1604 North, which is, I believe, it's kind of getting close to Evans, right? Or in the Encino area.
You're the one that is from San Antonio. I still rely on GPS literally everywhere I go, even if I'm from the area.
Well, the Rue Pub is right next to the Angry Elephant Bar. Just go 281 outside the loop, outside of 1604, probably about a mile. It's be on your right-hand side, but it's a viewing party for the national championship game, Georgia against Alabama. This is a rematch of the SEC championship game from a few weeks back where Alabama won that game. Georgia was undefeated going into it. Who do you got tonight?
I would say if I had to put money on it, never bet against Saban. But I also think it's hard to beat a team twice within, a general month span. So I want to say Georgia. They got that one loss out of the way. They're going to now, with a lot more on the line, probably beat Alabama. But I don't want to hedge my bets, but I think it really is a coin toss. And if you had forced me to pick, as much as I hate it, I will go against Saban and say Georgia.
Well, I need someone to bet on this game, okay? Because someone catch me at the Rue Pub, bet me $10 or at least a beer or something like that, because I'll take Georgia in this game. Again, it's hard to beat a good team like that twice. That defense from Georgia was remarkable all year long until they played Bama. And I look at Alabama, and it's not like Nick Saban can't be beaten. We've seen it happen before. We've seen Auburn beat them in the national title. We've seen teams like LSU do very well against them in the national stage. So it's not like they're unbeatable. And I kind of think that this Alabama team is just not as good as recent years. Still very good, still very elite. But I mean, this is a team that lost to A&M earlier this season. So I just think that it's hard to beat a team like Georgia twice. But Georgia does this thing every time. And it's just something like it's like this for like Atlanta teams or Georgia teams. They get out to leads in big moments, big games, and then they lose those leads. We saw that with Atlanta Falcons against the Patriots 28-3. We've seen this with Georgia in the past as well against Alabama, where they're up in the third quarter and then they lose it in the fourth. They got to keep their foot on the gas. And if they can do that, I think Georgia's going to win tonight.
Alabama's offense is not where it usually is. You probably can't say that those are the star players that they typically churn out, but that defense is always going to be good. They're just such an NFL mini camp over there at Alabama that it's hard to go against them, but Georgia's going to give them a run for their money. I hope it's a good game. That's all I really care about is a good game, because I don't really have any skin in it. My Bobcats are terrible.
Yeah.
They're about as far away from a national championship as you can get in Division I football. So, yeah, just give me a good game.
I saw a TikTok the other day it said creating an NFL team using only Alabama players from, that graduate from Alabama. And that team would have gone like 15-2, 16-1. And it was like Mac Jones as quarterback, and you have Najee Harris at running back, and you've got, Jalen Waddle, and you've got all these good receivers, and this offensive line's amazing. The defense was amazing. You could actually create a Pro Bowl team in the NFL just using Alabama players. That's amazing.
It's almost like Kentucky in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the game is tonight. We'll be at the Roo Pub. Again, the Blitz is on from 4 to 7.
No, it's on 4 to 6,
4
and
to
then we
6.
go into the pregame for
That's
the
right.
national championship and 6:30 kickoff.
Thank you for correcting me.
Ish.
4 to 6 o'clock. You can go meet Jason Minix, Joe Reinagel of Ken's 5. Well, for now, from Ken's 5, right? He's retired from Ken's 5. He's with the San Antonio Sports Star now. He'll be out there as well. You get to meet him. I'll be out there. Rob Thompson, James Pledger, and if Karl gets a nap in, he might be out there as well. So good times. And on Facebook Live, Gabriel Chacon says they should name the Roo Pub onion rings after Jason Minix. And they need to have a Pledger drink out there. I mean,
it's not that hard. Go ahead and find some things to name after some of those loyal patrons from formerly ESPN SA, because Minix raves about their food, and I think it's pretty good. But the way Minix talks about it, you would think that it's what's a Michelin star ranking, and I think it's pretty good. But Minix loves him some Roo Pub food. That's his top.
No,
that's his top 2.
The wedge salad.
Ooh,
at
that
the
is
Roo
good.
Pub is amazing.
Mhm.
And then their wings are massive. They're like dinosaur arms or dinosaur.
Haven't had anything.
Forearms.
I can't say that I've had anything bad. So just kind of randomly point your finger at a menu and you'll find something good at the Roo Pub.
There's some healthy items as well, but then on the burgers are amazing. But you can go from place to place to place because you have the Roo Pub, which is connected to the Angry Elephant Bar. And for those of you who like poker, San Antonio Card Club is right next door to it all. So you can just, stumble on over there and hang out and Uber it back home, man. But we'll be there tonight.
I'm doing dry January. I can't really have fun with y'all like that.
Well, I'm actually doing dry January as well, but I'm doing that from a liquor perspective. I will have an occasional beer. So I haven't had actually alcohol, like liquor, in over a month.
It's weird. I guess I didn't realize how much I was drinking or how much I just kind of drank whenever I want. Because I've been bringing it up daily to my girlfriend. It's like, how many days are in January? 31.
31. Hey, let's get back into sports. The Dallas Cowboys, man, moved up to the 3 spot in the NFC. Will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Man, this brings back the glory days. You might be too young for this.
I'm too young for
But the glory days of the early to mid 90s where it was about the Cowboys and the 49ers. And it was so great because you had certain players play for both teams. You had Charles Haley kind of switch sides. You had Deion Sanders kind of switch sides as well. But that was the heyday, man, when you had Joe Montana and Steve Young leading the 49ers. And obviously you had Troy Aikman with Emmitt Smith and that incredible defense that the Cowboys had. Michael Irvin at wideout. This is the glory days for the Cowboys, and we get to go back in time with this game. It's kind of weird because Jimmy Garoppolo and Dak Prescott were maybe only 3 to 5 years old when this all happened. But for Cowboy fans, it's very, very, very nostalgic to have this game out there. But the weird thing is that the Cowboys had something to play for, and there's a lot of criticism going on right now towards Coach Mike McCarthy, basically saying that he should not have played his star players so much. I mean, we had Dak Prescott going into the 4th quarter. Yes, he had a huge game. And yes, the Cowboys, for the most part, avoided major injuries. But the thing is that as he mentioned during the week, he was like, hey, this isn't preseason. We don't have 90 players to play. We only have 48 because normally we have, 53, but there's been injuries and whatnot. We had to play our players. And you were saying that earlier, McCarthy was talking about the fact that this was what he wanted to do all along.
Yeah, and straight from the man's mouth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we wanted to be, pretty balanced running pass mix. I thought we established that, coming out of it, and just the rhythm and timing, going into the playoffs. We've talked about this during the course of the week in our time in Dallas. I've rested players, I've not rested players, and but we felt where we were as a team first year in the playoffs, it was important for us to continue to play. So, statistically, rhythm, pace of operation, everything we were looking to accomplish tonight, we were able to get that done.
That's Coach Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. Frank Valdez reaches out to us on Facebook and says, I hope a Niner stands on the star to start the game, kind of like T.O. did back in the day. Rudolph Renee says, it doesn't matter what the Cowboys do. The media is always going to find fault. Well, I find no fault in it. I'm glad that the Cowboys played their star players. They need to get some confidence for Zeke and for Dak Prescott out there. Now, I do fault them playing them into the 4th quarter. I would have played them for just one half, especially since they were up 30-17. But then again, the game was not out of hand, and the Cowboys had something to play for, which is they didn't know what was going to go on Sunday. Can you imagine if they had lost this game and stayed at 4 when they could have moved up to 3? So, I mean, it means something, because you're trying to get the best positioning possible so that it helps you out later on. It helps you out later on in the second round. I mean, I know we're talking about whether or not the Cowboys want to play Tom Brady in Tampa, or do the Cowboys want to play Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau? But still, I think that's the easier route to go, is to go through Tampa.
I'm more on the side of how I feel like McCarthy coaches, which is from the gut feeling, somebody who will go for it on 4th and 3 at his own 24, or not his own 24, the other team's 24-yard line, because he just feels like, hey, I want to get 6 points. And I think that's plays into this. I don't want to take that week off when you, like you say, could get another seed up into the 3 seed. And I think, was there a scenario? I think there was a scenario where they could have even ended up in the 2 going in the last week.
They could have.
So it's obvious that it made sense from their perspective just to kind of find a rhythm. But as it was mentioned by Rudolph Renee, there's still a fair amount of criticism of this team, and I think it's something that, if anything else, they played a cleaner football game in terms of penalties. If there's one weakness of this Cowboys team, it's really the penalties.
The criticism is the fact that the Cowboys have not played up to their potential this year, which is both a positive and a negative.
Which is funny, isn't it? Because they're having a great season.
Well, right, but they haven't beaten any teams that had won 10 games, and they lost to the elite teams that they played. All right, but the thing is that the Cowboys beat up on teams that were bad. And I take a look at it this way. It's all about potential. And the Cowboys have incredible potential because that defense can get takeaways. Mm-hmm. Now, it can also get obliterated. I mean, it's happened before. We look at Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, league leader in interceptions, but he's also one of the league leaders in yards given up as a cornerback. So it's feast or famine with that team. But when they're feasting, they feast hard and they win those games. So it's just one of those things that we know what Dak is capable of, and he doesn't make too many mistakes. I'm worried about the kicking, but man, the potential's there, and for the most part, they're healthy. And we're making some assumptions here that Micah Parsons comes back from COVID protocol. We're making some assumptions that the offensive line is restored from COVID protocols as well. So I think the Cowboys are going to be perfectly fine. Again, the kickoff is Sunday at 3:30 against the 49ers. From the AT&T Stadium, Jerry World back in Arlington. Cowboys favored by only 3, so it's going to be a great game. The 49ers, man, that's a streaky team. We saw what they did against the Rams. They went over there, which was kind of crazy because in LA at SoFi, it looked like a 49ers home game. There were more 49er fans out there than Rams fans.
There's a lot more things to do in LA, and I think that really LA, it's kind of a cool place to be there, but they aren't fans of the teams that are there, whether it's, the Chargers or the Rams. It's more of let's check out an NFL game than we are diehard fans.
It's kind of hard to be a diehard when this team moves around so often. But anyway, let's get some headlines in. Here's Karl with the 411 and the 210.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
David Gettleman retires after only 4 seasons as the New York Giants general manager. Would you ever go into a job thinking I'm going to retire in 4 years?
That's a dumpster fire of an organization. It really, really is. And we're seeing that a lot today. The coaching carousel is spinning hard. We saw the Bears get rid of their coach. We saw the Dolphins get rid of their coach. We see what's going on with the Giants as well. It's one of those things, man, where, that Giants organization is just, it's kind of hard to pinpoint where to fix it. I mean, they're broken all over the place. Even the star players are broken.
Yeah, you got to trade Saquon Barkley while he's worth something. Because that'll be a running back who falls off in the next 2-3 years, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn the ship around. Daniel Jones, as an Eagles fan, I'm fine with him being the quarterback as long as he wants. They can keep him around. And ever since they kind of sputtered their wheels with Eli Manning, it was like, okay, what's the actual plan here? Y'all lucked into a couple Super Bowls, so thus Eli gets to do what he wants until he retires. And then that ended up being a dumpster fire at the end where they benched him, and even the fans thought it's not Eli's fault, even though he's not really helping us out. And that's it. That explains the Giants. They are just kind of an enigma. And the funny thing about the NFL is they'll probably be good in 3 or 4 years, just randomly.
You really have to implode it because I don't think you can patchwork that team. There's just something off with all of them. I mean, the receiving core, their offensive line, their quarterback, their running back, it's all very suspect. You just got to implode it and just start all over again. And that's unfortunate because I think that the league is better when the Giants are doing better. Not so much like the Cowboys and the Niners, but that they're the second tier of teams of importance when it comes to the NFL.
Headline 1.
USC Trojans quarterback Jackson Dart enters NCAA transfer portal. Dart, who enrolled at USC in January 2021, appeared in 6 games for the Trojans, passing for 1,353 yards with 9 touchdowns and 5 INTs. He is the second prominent USC quarterback to enter the portal since the school hired Lincoln Riley as multi-year starter. Caden Slavis transferred to Pitt last month.
You know, we talk about dominoes falling whenever a coach leaves. I mean, we saw that with Lincoln Riley, and then all of a sudden LSU has a new coach, and Notre Dame has to look for a new coach. But it's now happening to the players as well. I'm glad that they have the opportunity to go off and join another team. But correct me if I'm wrong, Karl. They can only do that once, right? They can only go into the transfer portal once.
I believe it's twice, actually.
Okay.
But, transfers in general, transfer portal's kind of new because I think it allows you to just kind of enter and play right away. I need to double check those rules these days because I think you could transfer as many times as you want. I've known people who've transferred like 3 times in their college careers through various NCAA levels.
Yeah, ESPN was doing a story earlier today that I was watching this morning, getting ready, talking about Deion Sanders. What happens if Deion Sanders goes to like a Florida State and becomes the head coach over there? It's one of those things where all the players that he signs now would probably go with him. And that's the thing, is that what we're noticing right now is that these athletes are signing for the coach. They're going someplace for the coach. They're not going for the team. They're not going to play for UT or A&M or LSU or USC. They're going to play for that coach because they want to fit in that particular system. And the loyalty is to the coach more than it is to the actual program.
You know, I heard something one time that said, and this was true when it happened, I think back in 2015, 70% of recruits do not finish their careers with the head coaches that recruited them in high school. And like when you look at 70%, that's kind of staggering whether the coach gets fired or he moves on to a better job. You can't go to a school for a coach. You have to go to the school for the school and maybe opportunities on field kind of because of what the coach says, but really your degree plan.
But sometimes when it comes to a quarterback, they need to have a certain system in place, because if a coach leaves and all of a sudden they change it, or you're a defensive player and they go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, or they do something a little bit different, you might be the odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm just glad that the transfer portal does exist because it gives them someplace to go.
Yeah, but, I just feel so bad for these kids that probably don't want to leave, but they're forced to because of situations like that. And that messes up your transcript when you're transferring, and then you have new people to beat out, and maybe you don't end up at staying at an FBS school and you feel like you have to go to FCS. There's just so many things that play into just the carousel that is the college world. And I almost feel like we're not far off from the pay to play. So these transfers are more potential. I don't think you can trade college students, but that'd be fun just to kind of see if it's like, well, I got my guaranteed money anyway. Yeah. I'm just going to do the best I can.
They are getting paid, man. It's already here in a way.
It is, yes, and no at the same time. It's not contracts.
Exactly.
Headline 0.
Hey, if you were listening to R&R in the morning, this was one of our 8 o'clock headlines that not too far after changed up as men's top-ranked tennis player Novak Djokovic says after his visa reinstatement, he remains focused on Australian Open. The world's top-ranked tennis player, Novak Djokovic, expressed gratitude that an Australian judge overturned his visa cancellation on Monday. Djokovic tweeted a photo of himself standing on a tennis court at Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, saying, "Despite all that has happened, I want to stay and try and compete at Australian Open. I remain focused on that. I flew here to play one of the most important events we have in front of amazing fans." If you did not hear earlier, he thought just because he wasn't vaccinated, but he tested positive in December, that created an immunization kind of loophole around Australia's vaccine mandate.
Okay, first of all, I knew that he was going to be able to play. A 9-time champion who's going for the all-time record is going to play. Rob Thompson and I debated that last week on Halftime. First of all, it's one of those things, man, because there was some confusion as to who allowed him to get that waiver. Apparently, it was not only the Tennis Association, but it was also a government official, which made things sticky because you have a government official over there saying that he can play in Australia. Now, there's a second player out there who's in limbo, who's also stuck in a motel. I wonder if he's going to play, because if he's not able to play, well, then you're going to see that there's favoritism involved when it comes to some of this.
Well, we don't know his name, so it doesn't bode well for him.
Exactly. Now, the best part of all this, the memes. Novak Djokovic being called Novak's Djokovid. Fantastic.
I'm
it was
not
amazing.
That creative. That is great memeing there for people.
and they're showing him, instead of throwing the ball up in the air, it looks like what's like a COVID.
The COVID protein.
Yeah,
exactly. The virus.
Good times.
That's the 411 and a 210.
Hey, real fast, how great of a teammate is Tom Brady? I was not a fan of Brady when he was with the Patriots, okay? I just couldn't stand him. But ever since he went to Tampa Bay, I've become a fan. He has become funny. He is on Instagram. He is on TikTok. He's hilarious now. He's no longer a robot. Kind of still a robot, maybe, but he's a little bit more approachable and presentable. But yesterday, he did a solid for his good friend, teammate for many, many years, Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski was short of reaching 2 bonuses. He needed 7 receptions and a little bit more than 80 yards to get $1 million in bonuses, $500,000 for each. Brady stayed on the field to make sure that he got those bonuses.
And this all comes after the rumors that Antonio Brown was being frozen out, so he didn't get his bonuses.
Exactly. Exactly. It just shows, I mean, I think if I didn't get this correctly, I haven't double-checked the stats on this or the numbers on this, but I saw something that said that Gronkowski got more in bonuses yesterday than Antonio Brown got in salary the entire season. I got to double check on that, but that might be true.
Well, he had 3.2 million guaranteed, Antonio Brown. Last year, he was only like 1.3 million guaranteed.
Okay.
And I don't know what Antonio Brown's bonuses were, but I want to say he was close to another $1 million.
Even if it's wrong,
it's pretty close.
It's pretty darn close, but it was great to see that. And to see, they're telling Brady on the sidelines, hey, man, Gronk needs you out there one more possession. And he's like, okay, I'll go back out there. And it was fantastic. But that's what friends do, man. That's what teammates do. And of course, they had to beat up on their opponent to do it. But still, good for Gronk, man. Good for Gronk. He needed 55 receptions for the year and like 800 yards receiving. I mean, that's a pretty low bar for him, man. But he got over it.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. That might be the best quarterback tight end duo of all time. It has to be, right? I can't think of anybody that can say they're more accomplished.
That's the word right there. More accomplished.
Brady and Gronk, and you look at those bonuses, and you tell Tom Brady he needs those bonuses. He'll get those bonuses. Gronk was aware of it.
It means something. I don't know if you know this, but Rob Gronkowski lives off of his endorsement money. He saves every penny of his salary.
He seems smart like that, actually. He actually has a fun party boat that he does.
Really?
Yeah, you should look into it. It's probably more expensive than my credit card will allow, but yeah, Rob Gronkowski has a lot of endorsement deals off that can make him money. So off the field that can make him money.
Yeah, I saw a video of him where he talks about how conservative he is with his money, because you would think that the wilder you are, the more aggressive you are, but he's actually a pretty conservative guy when it comes to his money, and he's been taught by his dad to be very conservative and live off of his endorsements, because that should be good enough. Hey, when we come back, very tragic news in Hollywood. We like talking about pop culture nostalgia here. Bob Saget, the comedian who played Danny Tanner on Full House, passed away. And it got me thinking, was he really America's dad in the 90s? I saw someone mention this on Twitter, and a lot of people were jumping on saying that is the case. But you can vote on this on Twitter right now at my page, which is at MikeESPNSA. I brought up 3 people. Mr. Winslow from Family Matters, Danny Tanner from Full House, and what about Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince? Got a few more minutes to vote on this on Twitter, again, at MikeESPNSA. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Let's go! The national championship game is tonight. Hi, I'm Jason Minix.
I'm Joe Reinagle, and we're taking the Blitz on the road for the title game. Join us from 4 to 7 at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road.
Of course, there's no better place to watch the game than at the Roo Pub. So pregame with the Blitz, meet Joe Reinagle, and then we're going to stick around and watch the game.
The Blitz with Jason Minix and me, Joe Reinagle, tonight at the Roo Pub, Bama and Georgia.
We'll see you at the Roo.
Do you love your garage? Can you get your cars and the kids' bikes in? Jason Minix here for Sanization, your garage storage solution. With a variety of shelving, overhead racks, slat walls, and closed cabinet options, Sanization can make your garage functional for the entire family. Call 210-664-4494 and have them give you a free customized plan for your family's needs. For over a decade, Sanization has helped people love their garage. Learn more online at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
The custodial team is not
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See Walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today. 571-0318.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
With Mercari, your unneeded things can find a new life.
Hello, hello.
Easily list and sell.
I know why you say goodbye, and I say hello.
Or discover great finds.
Hello.
Buy or sell almost anything.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
Download Mercari on the app stores or at Mercari.com. Mercari, your marketplace.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Volkswagen and Audi owners or lessees may be eligible to receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
How would you like to start off the new year with an extra $1,000? Well, we've got you covered. Go to sasportstar.com and click on the New Year New Cash banner on the front page, and under the giveaway tab, you can register, and that's it. It's that simple. Just another way to pay. It pays to listen to the San Antonio Sports Star all day, every day. Welcome back to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. You know, last week we lost an icon there in Betty White. She passed away recently. And another death in pop culture news, Bob Saget, the comedian who's best known as Danny Tanner on Full House back in the 90s. He passed away, found dead at the age of 65 at a hotel, the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. He was on a comedy tour, and he was found unresponsive in his hotel room. Police say that there's no evidence of foul play and no evidence of drug use, but we don't know what he passed away from. There is some reports on TMZ right now saying that Bob Saget was recently on a podcast talking about how he contracted COVID, and he was joking about it, saying that it was kind of a bad thing for him, but he didn't know if it was the Delta or the Omicron version of it all. But long story short, he passed away at age 65, and it's interesting because you may not remember Bob Saget back in how big of a deal Full House was, but did you ever watch it like with reruns or anything like that, Karl?
You know, I didn't get into Full House. I want to say it was just before my general attentiveness of TV watching.
Yeah.
But I am aware of the existence of the show. James Pledger might like this. I want to say Bob Saget was the eventual was the voice of Ted Mosby, like old Ted.
Oh, really?
In, How I Met Your Mother. So I kind of remember him from that. And he did a cameo in Half Baked, which apparently threw people off a loop because he was America's dad.
Yeah.
And he's in like a rehab anonymous meeting, and he says some pretty outlandish stuff. So
well, that was who he was. I mean, Danny Tanner was just a character, but the person that he was kind of in real life, that Bob Saget was a little bit more lewd. I mean, he was a very dirty comedian. And it's kind of funny because we see him in one light on, must see, what was it called? TGIF on ABC back in the day. I mean, those are classic shows. It came back, got rebooted as Fuller House. But I remember Bob Saget from Entourage because he had a recurring role over there where he's just kind of playing himself, but he was a drugged up, kind of sexaholic version of himself on that show. But don't know how much of that was accurate, but that's what he played on Entourage when he played himself. Bob Saget, a very funny comedian, in that recent podcast was talking about Norm Macdonald's death, and he passed away last year as well. So we're losing a lot of the legends. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that Bob Saget was the America's dad of the 90s. And when I go back in time, had a conversation with Rob Thompson about this earlier today. In the 70s, America's dad was Mr. Cunningham from Happy Days. In the 80s, it was Mr. Huxtable or Dr. Huxtable from The Cosby Show, which is Bill Cosby.
Oh, was that the 80s? I was going to say Heathcliff Huxtable, the Cosby character. I didn't realize that was the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, mostly the 80s.
Okay.
And it bled into the 90s with A Different World, and there's the spinoff and stuff like that, which, by the way, A Different World was a great show. The 90s, though, I would not call Danny Tanner the father or the dad of the 90s or the TV dad of the 90s. And I asked this on Twitter. I put a poll out there just to see what people thought, and I gave people three options here. They're the three that I thought of. Okay, maybe there's a fourth one that I don't know of, but it was Danny Tanner from Full House, Mr. Winslow from Family Matters, or Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And out of those who voted, now mind you, we only have 54 votes, but still insignificant enough. Uncle Phil came in at number one with 50%. Followed by Danny Tanner, Bob Saget's character, at 43%, and then Mr. Winslow from Family Matters at 7%.
I'd say Fresh Prince was probably the best show of the three, so that helps. But I blank on the actor's name, but Uncle Phil was by far just the best actor on that show. Even though Will Smith was entertaining, it is a very good role of a uncle, trying to take care of his nephew and his family at the same time. I almost would say that if we're using an example of a dad, it would have to be Uncle Phil. And I thought that was James Avery. Was that his name?
Avery was his name, yes.
Yeah. So, James Avery played a great role there as Uncle Phil. And, people to this day think about, just how he was kind of the wise judge, Uncle Phil.
Yeah. And he's gone too. I mean, he died on New Year's Eve, 2013. He was 68 years old, James Avery. Again, Bob Saget passed away at 65. The character of Uncle Phil, part of it was scripted and part of it apparently was ad-libbed. Some of the that touching scene that Will Smith had as the Fresh Prince, basically saying, why doesn't my dad want me? And as you said, he was a father to Carlton and to his and to the sisters. But when it came to Will Smith's character, he was the father figure to him. I thought that was more poignant, more meaningful, because when I think about Full House, I think more of the uncles, Uncle Jesse, and those characters. It was almost like those three had to come together to become the dad. But that was a different scenario because, correct me if I'm wrong, on Full House, the mother had passed away, and therefore it was the dad trying to raise them, and that's why the uncles were coming on in. But when it came to matters of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that was a different circumstance there. That was teaching someone how to be a man and how to stand up for themselves and be more serious and to mature. Both great characters. Not to say anything bad about Mr. Winslow from Family Matters, but I mean, that really wasn't his show. I don't remember many Mr. Winslow moments. I see that guy and I think to myself of Die Hard. That's who because he was in Die Hard, and that's one of the few movies from the 80s that I did watch back when it came out.
And what show is Mr. Winslow again? Because that's
Family Matters. That was Urkel. That was Urkel.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, Stefan Urkel and Urkel, same guy. But it was good times. But we've got more on this show. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about tonight's big party. It's a viewing party, San Antonio Sports Star, where you guys are invited. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The match is set. Number 3 Georgia will go head-to-head with number 1 Alabama in the College Football National Championship. Live tonight at 7. Presented by Kubota on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs fell in overtime to the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday, 121-119. Lonnie Walker led the Spurs in scoring in his third start of the season with 25 points. The Spurs stay in New York City, but play in Madison Square Garden tonight against the Knicks. Tip-off is slated for 6:30 Central Time. The Rockets fell to Minnesota Timberwolves 141-123 in Houston last night. Karl Anthony Towns had 40 to send Houston to their 14th loss in the last 17 games. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a big win against the Chicago Bulls, 113-99. Luka Doncic led the Mavs with a 22 points, 14 rebound, and 14 assists triple-double. And the Dallas Cowboys officially land in the NFC's 3 seed and will host the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round this Sunday at 3:30. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Has this ever happened to you? My friend was telling me about his new pair of headphones, so I looked them up online. Now, everywhere I go is a creepy ad for those headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I got DuckDuckGo, I saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan. Which is a team now in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customer surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
A new year comes with new excitement, new ambitions, new milestones. Is this the year you pop the question, have a child? Celebrate a major anniversary. At Diamonds Direct, we're here for you, now more than ever. With our vast selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds, our world-renowned designer jewelry collections, our industry-leading warranties and guarantees, and our people. People with a passion for helping you mark any occasion with something that's both meaningful and timeless. And our commitment to providing exceptional value is stronger than ever in the new year. Whether you're just starting out on a tight budget or whether you're splurging on that 30th anniversary gift, Diamonds Direct will make sure you get the price that you expect from America's premier direct diamond importer. Welcome to a new year and welcome to Diamonds Direct, where extreme value combines with the ultimate luxury shopping experience to create that truly magical moment for the milestones in your life. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at Lock Ontario.
Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Are you ready?
You know what time it is?
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go have a day, huh?
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Everything's bigger in Texas. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
God, I love Bon Jovi. Woo! Spurs and Knicks tonight at Madison Square Garden, 6:30 tip-off. Karl, tell me about this injury report, man. It's a long one.
Well, as always, Zach Collins is out with his left ankle stress fracture. Out with health and safety protocols are Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Doug McDermott, Devin Vassell, Derek White, and Thaddeus Young. Additional members of this new injury report are Jock Landale, who's questionable with upper back spasms, and Josh Primo is probable, but he has a left quad contusion.
Yeah, he played 39 minutes, though.
And I'm pretty sure he got that quad contusion from the charge he took at the end of the game.
Harden.
Yeah, that was a tough charge to take. The young man stepped up and sacrificed his body.
I was very, very impressed. Again, the Spurs lost that heartbreaker to the Brooklyn Nets yesterday by 2 points. But, man, Primo played well. Lonnie Walker was fantastic. But, man, tonight is the night. National championship game, Georgia at Alabama. Game's at 7 o'clock, but we're going to pregame and party beforehand. The Blitz from 4 to 6 p.m. Only 4 to 6 tonight. Jason Minix, Joe Reinagel live from the Roo Pub. Then afterwards, we're going to stay, watch the national title game, Georgia and Bama. come hang out with us. I think Rob Thompson will be there. I'll be there. Obviously, Jason and Joe will be there. Pledge will probably be there. He lives there at the Roo Pub.
I bet you he's there right now.
And Karl, 50-50. He's questionable.
Yeah, I got a potential nap waiting for me at the end of all of this. You know what? It's not that bad. I was feeling bad for Pledge, but, he had to do 3 straight days of long days. But it is not, so far, through 2 o'clock, not as bad as I thought it would be.
Now, have you had lunch yet?
I did sneak in a lunch.
Okay, that's what Pledge gets a little bit worried about, whether he's going to have time to eat.
He doesn't think about eating. I made sure that I ate before you came on.
Okay, that's where you were. Okay, because I got in here around 10:30, and I was like, where is everybody? But Rob kind of kept me company for a while. But, man, this has been a fun time. We'll be back on Tuesday for another edition of Halftime. Again tonight, Georgia and Bama. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. I'm going for Georgia. I think Georgia wins this game by 10 points, man. So I'm hoping somebody puts some money on this game for me, man. Someone bet me $10 at the Roo Pub. But this has been Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Listeners of the Paul Feinbaum Show come from all parts of the South.
I live in the mountains.
They're passionate about the SEC.
I've been drinking a little beer this afternoon, and I've got the feeling that we're going to beat Georgia